Well, lo and behold, as a viewer of Sean's View Entertainment, the guy delivers again. I guess according to WrestlingInc.com, from what he just described, there is talk of putting Renee Young, the Raw announcer, the Raw backstage interviewer, and sometimes a host, the Raw host, if you will, of the pre-show panel and post-show panel. There's talk of putting Renee Young possibly on the Raw, and if not, SmackDown announce team. Now, this wouldn't be the first time Renee Young's been in the broadcast booth. She's done it on NXT. And I think maybe she did it once or twice. She did it once or twice on Main Event, or a few times on Main Event. Now, you could probably wonder and ask, why would WWE even consider doing this? Here's why WWE would consider doing this. They would consider doing it because of the time frame. You see, nowadays, if not for the past few years, if not for the past decade, there have been a variety of sporting networks out there like ESPN, Fox Sports, TSN, NBC Sports, CBS, ABC, and the list goes on. Big Ten, Pac-12, you name it. There's been a variety of sports networks out there that have now allowed and given female broadcasters the chance to go out and be play-by-play announcers. There have been female play-by-play announcers for college football. You tune into ESPN and you can get an all-male broadcast team. You tune into ESPN2, you get a female male broadcast team. You get the female being the play-by-play announcer. Or the roles could be reversed. Or you go to ESPNU, or you go to Fox Sports, NBC, ABC. Doesn't matter. The fact is it's nothing new in the sporting world. It's just been around a lot longer than what WWE is looking at. See, WWE, they're now looking at the possibility that they can finally be part of that. See, they've innovated by saying, okay, we're going to bring the network and everything, but we're still behind on certain times. We're still behind on certain pieces of the time that we need to get and be a part of. And when you have someone like, let's say, Stephanie McMahon, who's a big supporter of Renee Young, saying, hey, I want to possibly have Renee Young someday, if not before this year's out, in that Raw broadcast booth with Michael Cole, JBL, and The King, then if she feels Renee's ready to do it, Renee's going to end up doing it. And here's why, though. See, for any of you that maybe have heard her broadcast announcing, and basically from what has been described by Triple H in character, Renee's a very hard-nosed, straight to the facts kind of girl. Basically, she will ask the tough questions and wanting answers to those questions. And when you're Stephanie McMahon and you see someone like that, whose character has that kind of potential, on-screen and off-screen, but has that kind of potential, you could be like, yeah, she'd be perfect. Because think about it this way. Think about it from Stephanie McMahon's point of view. Renee Young could be the kind of female broadcaster or play-by-play or commentator that, let's say JBL starts doing his suck-up for the heels or the Authority or any heels. You could have her stop JBL in his tracks and go like, hey, why don't you just stop sucking up and be by? Or you could have her go like, hey JBL, answer me this. Why do you keep sucking up to the Authority so much when you know what they're doing is wrong? There you go. Perfect scenario. That would be exactly what Stephanie's looking at, possibly. I mean, again, you go back about a month or two ago when Michael Cole was off for a week and Renee Young was interviewing Triple H, And he basically told Michael Cole the following week, yeah, she asked some tough questions and stuff. that is exactly maybe what they want to have. Maybe that's what Stephanie sees in Renee. Someone that can point out something, maybe ask the tough questions to, let's say, a superstar diva on commentary, or maybe even to someone like a JBL or Michael Cole or Jerry Lawler. That would be something different, because then you would have the broadcasters, or you would have someone like JBL go like I mentioned, if she asks him, why do you keep sucking up to the authority when you know that what they're doing is wrong? You could have JBL, he could be stumped like that, and he could be like in character, and then basically he wouldn't have an answer, because then through character-wise, story-wise, basically Renee would have had JBL, even without answering the question, admit that he knows what the authority is doing sometimes is indeed wrong. So that's the kind of potential I think Stephanie McMahon sees with Renee. Someone that in character, in the broadcast booth, could ask the tough questions, even to her fellow commentators and play-by-play announcers. Another potential for this probably happening when you look at it is she could just be brought in for the diva matches. Yeah. Think of it this way. There are sporting events out there that sometimes when the females come on board, or when the females come to perform, you have to have a female perspective, right? So they bring in a female play-by-play announcer. There you go. Right? That might be what they do. They might be thinking, okay, we're going to have the divas, and we're featuring the divas more often now. Let's have a play-by-play female perspective on this. Boom, there you go. Maybe that's what they're thinking. And then here's another thing. They might be thinking of, going into an old format that Raw used to do, and even Nitro used to do, and that is having different broadcast teams for different hours or different portions of the show. For example, let's say for the first hour and a half, or what is it, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes exactly, not 3 hours, but still. For the first, let's say, 90 minutes. Let's say for the first 90 minutes, hour and a half, you could have Renee Young, Byron Saxton, and Tom Phillips do the first 90 minutes, and then transition over to Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL for the other half, for the main event portion of Raw. Same for SmackDown. Same for SmackDown. And matter of fact, you could switch the roles for SmackDown. You could say, okay, for SmackDown's opening, let's see, 60 minutes, or whatever you want to call it, 45 minutes. Let's have Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and JBL do that hour. And then for the last hour, we'll go Renee Young, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxton for SmackDown's last hour. See what I'm saying? That way, SmackDown, in a sense, becomes their show. They become the main event announce team for SmackDown. Well, on Raw, they end up being the opening announce team. Well, JBL, Jerry Lawler, and Michael Cole are the main event announce team for Raw. Easy as that, right? Now, you might also say, now, I know what you're thinking. You might ask, well, what about pay-per-views, Brian? Well, that would be a really interesting question. I think what they should do with the pay-per-views is they have to stick with the main event announce team. Now, if they switch it up a little bit, then fine, that's good too. They could even follow that formula. They could say, okay, for the first 90 minutes of this pay-per-view, we could go with, Renee and Byron and Tom doing that 90 minutes just like they do on Raw, and then we, the main event team from Raw, Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler, could come out and do that part. They could do that, or they could do a four-man booth, just like what they did with the freaking Germany announce team. Or four-person booth, just like they did with the freaking Germany announce team. They could have JBL, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Renee Young. Wouldn't hurt. Or like I said, for the, let's say the Diva matches on the pay-per-views, you can have Renee Young come out and do a female perspective on it. I think that's what they're looking at. And honestly, I don't really think it's going to hurt much. Especially if they're going to play her character as someone that asks the tough questions to a lot of people, whether it's fellow commentators or guest commentators, and see what they can come up with. Because then, basically, from a character perspective, let's say you have, Seth Rollins come out and she's going to ask Seth the tough question. It's like, come on, Seth, why did you really do this? Do you really want to be associated with this group? You could have Seth kind of be stumped and everything. Or she could say, did they say something to you that you can't repeat to us? Did they do something to you? Threaten you? Whatever? You know, you could have her ask all these tough notes questions, and you could have someone like Seth Rollins go like he wouldn't know what to say, and you could have Renee go, that's all we need to hear. That's all we need to hear, guys. And I think that's exactly maybe what they want to do. I could be wrong, but I think that would be a direction they can go in. Like I said, there's a variety of directions. You've got split into 90 minutes. Like the first 90 minutes of Raw, Renee, Tom, Byron, boom, done. Second half, Michael Cole, JBL, Jerry, there you go. And then reverse the roles. Michael Cole, Jerry, JBL for the first half of SmackDown. Second half of SmackDown, Renee, Tom, Byron. Easy as pie. And then, like I said, the pay-per-views, you could either have her make it a 4-person broadcast booth, or you can come out and do play-by-play or help do play-by-play perspective or commentary for the Diva matches. Or you could have her go in there and be part of a 4-person broadcast booth on Raw and SmackDown, and have her be that tough-nosed, have her be that female play-by-play announcer / commentator that asks the tough, hard-nosed questions that nobody's going to be able to give her an answer for, or anybody an answer for. And I guarantee you it might work. Will it work perfectly? I don't know yet. But that's why they're considering it. That's why they're putting Renee out on the broadcast team on NXT and sometimes on Main Event, to see how she can handle it. And if she's handling it, and if she is handling it well, as possibly they're seeing, maybe like Stephanie McMahon is seeing, maybe she's handling it well enough that perhaps that's why they're considering it. But we all have to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe tonight will be the night. We don't know. It's supposed to be the season premiere. Anything can happen on the season premiere, right? Maybe tonight's the night. We don't know. So let me know what you guys think down below. Just my opinion on what I think they could, in some of the directions I think they're going to end up going with it. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to you all later. God bless. Take care.